We mentioned at the top, no Driana Edwards tonight for Kentucky, second leading scorer, and averaging right at 19 and 8 per game. A loss for sure. Just a one-game absence for not upholding the academic standards of the program. She will return in the upcoming rivalry matchup against the Louisville Cardinals this weekend. And what a game that should be. Just about set, ready to go. The Big East versus the SEC. Denise Brooks, Talisa Green, Kaz Beverly, our veteran officiating crew tonight from historic Rupp Arena. And we are underway. DePaul in the white unis and Kentucky in the black, playing at home. And just like that, a stoppage. Two teams squared off almost a year ago to the day, 86-82. We mentioned the points. DePaul won it up on their home floor, Wintrust Arena. And we expect a similar type of affair here this evening as you take a look at the Blue Demons starting five. Lexi Held, a Kentucky native, returns to her home state. Deja Church, transfer out of Michigan, and plenty of experience to go along with Anissa Mora.
Well, I think it's going to be a great game. And you just look at the players, Lexi Held, like you said, and then definitely going to come out and ready to play in front of our home crowd.
Treasure Hunt getting the start. Jada Walker, first career start with the absence of Edwards. And she has been really a spark plug for this Kentucky team. Cats got it for the first time, and attacking off glass off the mark. Jada Walker, and here comes DePaul.
I think one thing you're going to have to watch out for both sides is being able to score the ball quick. And I love Lexi Held goes in for the reverse layup. You're going to see quick scoring. And one thing DePaul does not get enough credit for, I think, is the way that they defend. They get the ball, they shoot the ball quickly, but then they get right into their defense, and they force teams to play faster than their tempo.
There's that word again, tempo. We'll be talking about it a lot tonight. Three-pointer off the mark. And a fresh look for the Cats. Straight to the jumper is Massengill. So Jazz Massengill's got Kentucky on the board. And we're tied at 2.
Well, Roy, you said it a little bit earlier just about Edwards and her being out. Which players, we asked Kyler Elsie, which players need to step up tonight in order to discount and credit for Dre's points? And Massengill is the player that you said, we've got to get more point production. Shoot the ball really well. Her percentages are really well. But her assist-to-turnover ratio is what she focuses on.
Ryan Howard inside was fouled on the shot. And I like what Coach Elsie had to say about their relationship, you know, transferring in from Tennessee. She said, you know, it took a little bit of time for us to, I don't want to say see eye to eye, but just agree on certain things and then agree to disagree on others. And it's kind of a work in progress, but she really likes Jazz's basketball IQ and wants her to be aggressive tonight, as you mentioned, Tamika, with the absence of Edwards.
Well, I think it's going to be important, not just for Massengill, but now that, I mean, Kyra said, Massengill's an extension of me on the court, and that's what you love to hear your coaches say. From a point guard position, you need them to be an extension, and Ryan Howard gets on the board.
First foul called against Rogers. 4-2 Cats with their first advantage. Deja Church attacking inside. And off the mark.
That's what you're going to see all night. They're going to try to drive the ball, try to get in the paint and get some easy baskets.
Look at the handles with Jada Walker getting it done inside.
Jada Walker, the way she plays, she is absolutely fearless when she gets in the paint.
I mean, the crossover, Bruno going to have to work on that, but that was pretty nasty right out of the gate there, Tamika.
Doug Bruno celebrating 36 years as a head coach. It's amazing. I have plenty of stories, but I call him Dougie, I call him Bruno. We have all types of names for him, but definitely a lot of great times.
I know you were part of 2 Olympic teams, which he was part of as well, 2012 and 2016. Last basket by Sonia Morris, her first touch and hoop.
Ooh, Jada Walker.
Okay, she came to play. She came to play.
She got called up, Roy. You get called up, your number gets called, a lot of freshmen, a lot of underclassmen don't realize the importance of when your number gets called, being able to step up. You don't have to worry about playing time, but when you get some time, make sure you're ready to play.
Yeah, her first career start already, 4 points. Coach Elsey said today, we knew she was special. When she got challenged early, she hit her head as Treasure Hunt connects down low. It's 10-4. And then she popped right back up without missing a beat and was on to the next possession when, you know, a younger player without that level of toughness maybe would have taken a break or who knows what. Inside a good look, and there's Deja Church to make it 10-6.
Now you can tell the way she plays. Only time she pulls it up is when you see her teammates like, okay, calm down. That's about the only time she knows how to say, okay, like, let me set the play up. When you think about a player like Ryan Howard and what she's able to do. She could play, today she gets moved to the 4 position, but we've seen her play the 1, the 2, the 3, the 4, and I bet you if they needed her to play the 5, she could probably step in and play that position as well.
Yeah, the 6'2" senior, her career has just been spectacular. I tried to get Kyra to maybe give us something that we haven't heard about Ryan Howard yet, and you know, it's just all out there. Preseason AP All-American, preseason Player of the Year in the SEC, and I think she's been challenged, Tamika, defensively, and maybe, you know, doing some of the dirty work on the glass and doing some other things, the intangibles to improve a little bit there. I think she's accepted that challenge this year.
Well, constantly asking Kyra Elvey, Coach Elvey, just how many steals, how many rebounds, assists, like trying to become a more all-around player and not just being so focused on scoring. And I think that's definitely been the value of having someone like her on this team.
And speaking of rebounding, Cats out rebounding DePaul early 7-1. You saw Treasure Hunt charity strike, a couple of free throws with the face mask. She took an elbow against LaSalle at the end of last month. Inside, great finish. Nisa Morrow doesn't play like a freshman, does she?
No, she doesn't, and she posts up big. You can tell when she gets going to the basket, she's been really, really good and very productive. But I love the spin move. You'll see as the game carries on what she's able to do around the basket. And, you know, Doug Bruno, he said he challenged her, and he challenges all of our freshmen. But he wants her to get down low, to run, rebound, defend, and finish at the basket. And you see this spin move right here against Owen. And just so smooth. Yeah, definitely not like a freshman.
And the physique as well. I mean, she doesn't have the look of a first-year player. I mean, certainly put together well and is taking advantage of that natural athleticism and size. Certainly a future star and a star right now, but, you know, maybe something even bigger in the Big East in the years to come.
Well, we asked Coach Bruno, like, at what point did you know she was going to be a really good player in your system? And he said, you know, I've been watching her in high school. And even in high school, she had a niche. She had a passion for the game and a passion for getting better. And those are the types of players you want in your system. Players that want to play and they want to get better and they continue to work at it.
Collier for 3, and she connects from the corner.
Every single player that comes in is ready to score at any point in time, and that's what makes DePaul's system run so efficiently.
Blue Demons shooting 63% to start. They trail it by 3. Olivia Owens trying to get it to Howard, and a turnover. Quickly ahead to Church, attacking off glass, 14-13.
That's just a lazy pass trying to get to Ryan Howard, but DePaul able to capitalize on the turnovers.
And Tamika, Blue Demons have made their last 4 field goals. And an offensive foul. First called on Howard. A 1-point game, a high-scoring affair in the Commonwealth. Come on back after this first break. You will talk about one of the best out there. Doug Bruno, year number 36, includes 24 trips to the Big Dance, 17 in a row at one point. And, you know, illustrious company when you look at the job he's done in terms of those consecutive postseason appearances. Tamika, you know him well. He's a great dude, a great ambassador of the game, and most importantly, a great teacher and an outstanding coach.
Well, I think that's what makes him so good, is the teaching element. And you can tell that he cares about his teammates. You always hear this line, but players don't care what you know until they know that you care. And that's one thing that Coach Bruno, putting his arm around players, just constantly trying to see us develop into great young women. And that's what he's done such a great job of.
Let me take you back in time, 2012, 2016, the Olympic team winning gold medals. Doug and Tamika getting it done, and love the pictures. And you guys spent a lot of time together, and those teams were fantastic, claiming those gold medals, those two Olympics.
Yeah, fantastic. Anytime you can walk away with the gold medal, I'm taking it. I'm taking it and I'm running. But yeah, definitely having the opportunity to play with him or play for him, and have our conversations offline is definitely helped me from a knowledge standpoint and just continuing to learn about the game, and then just from a friendship standpoint.
But the pass inside in the bucket for Morrow again. And DePaul back in front by 1.
Yeah, that's a great finish by Morrow, and you could tell this is something that she practiced over and over and over again. Pick, roll, dive straight to the basket, catch the ball, go straight up, and finish.
I do have a question for you, because I'm just curious. I'm curious by nature. Inside to Owen. She'll go to work and put it up and in. What do you do with the gold medals? Are they displayed there in the household? Do you keep them in your office? Do you just bring them out and show them to people when they come over? Tamika, what are we talking about?
Well, that's kind of an interesting question. I don't have them at home. Great three-point shot right there. I don't have them at home, but if you come over one day, I will make sure that I have them so that I can show you what they look like.
Okay, so they're protected, and that makes sense. I like it.
And that last three by Darian Rogers.
And Rogers 46% from downtown this year. Second possession and second basket for Olivia Owens inside.
That's interesting. You asked Kyra Elvey the question earlier, what will it look like for your team to succeed tonight? And one of the big things she said is they got to defend the three-point line. And thus far, you see DePaul's only shot. They're 2 for 2, so that's definitely something that Kentucky has to do a much better job if they want to look at winning this game.
Nisa Morrow now with 6 points. DePaul back in front, 20-18. So got 3 minutes left in the first quarter. Little elbow J back iron. The rebound claimed by Morrow. Look at the outlet pass. And then poked away. Was that Walker? I think it was. Yeah.
She's everywhere.
Another look inside for Owens.
And it has been fun watching Owens. I got a chance to go to the IU Kentucky game a few weeks ago, and this Kentucky team is so much different than that Kentucky team a few weeks ago. They've learned a lot. That's something we asked Coach Elvey, like, what did your team learn? And really taking advantage of what the defense is giving them.
Rogers off the mark. Morrow on the offensive glass. Up and in. She's got 8 points and 2 boards. (22-20). Kentucky's only loss of the season against Indiana. DePaul's had some chances against ranked foes as well. Texas A&M and Arizona. Walker off the mark. Morrow another rebound.
And look how fast DePaul gets on the break. Morrow got the rebound and was probably the third player down on the break.
Deja Church takes it to the rim, and a timeout on the floor. Nisa Morrow, 8 points, 3 rebounds for the freshman, Tamika.
Yeah, and she continued to dominate. You see right there, just being able to finish at the rim. She's so active, though. She's active around the basket. Church right there continuing to finish down low as well. But that is something that makes DePaul what they are. You know they're going to run, and that's something Coach Elvey said about for Kentucky defense. We have to defend DePaul. We've got to get back, transition defense. And, of course, Coach Bruno, he said, we got to run. We got to run it up their back and score, but that's what we know how to do.
Well, they're doing that. Kyra Elvey, year number 2. 24 wins already. 10th season overall at Kentucky. Of course, a longtime assistant to Matthew Mitchell, who's being honored tonight. Going to talk with Coach Mitchell at halftime, making his first return here to the game since he stepped aside before the start of last season. So certainly an emotional night for him and for this Kentucky program. And I'll tell you more about that as we go through. But a fun start. And DePaul has been red hot from the floor, 11 of 15, 73%. Hunt back to work. Hunt comes up short. Shot was bothered. And a good look inside in transition. Morris off the mark.
And such a good, DePaul, you've got to stop them in transition. Ryan Howard answers, and that is actually something to slow down the pace just a little bit for Kentucky.
Howard has 4. Lead down to 2 under a minute to go in the first. No mathematician here, Tamika, but we're on track for about 100 points for one of these two teams, maybe both.
Well, that's the kind of game you like to call, Roy, I can tell.
I mean,
all about
maybe
the
it's
offense.
just me.
I'm the defense. I'm the defense.
Hey, you got the gold medals and the MVP and the championship. You know, it's just, I'm here to sell tickets, I guess. I don't know.
Is that what it takes?
Cats with the ball. Here's Howard. Just makes it look easy. Off the crossover. Offensive rebound. 3-second differential between the clocks. And a quick 3 in and out. DePaul can play for the last shot of the quarter.
And I don't think they're going to hold the ball. I think they're going to go. And force the turnover.
Hammond's unable to connect there with that pass. You got 12 seconds to go. Kentucky can tie it with a 2. Take the lead with a triple.
I thought that was a close call right there. DePaul almost forced a turnover on Kentucky.
Howard will bring it up. Step back 3. And it almost looked like it kind of slipped out of her hands on the release. 24-22. 10 minutes in. And a good one in the Commonwealth. DePaul out of the Big East, a 2-point advantage. And we got some offense tonight here in the heart of the SEC. Now, coming up Sunday afternoon, we'll feature another great women's basketball rivalry. Florida hosting Florida State at 1 Eastern. Down at Exactech Arena, Gators looking to snap a 5-game skid in the series against the Noles. It's right here. The SEC Network and also the ESPN app. One app, one tap. Matthew Mitchell in the house for the first time since he stepped down before the start of last season, winning as coach in Kentucky women's basketball history. And Tamika, you know him well. Led the Cats to postseason play in 11 of his 13 seasons, including 9 trips to the dance, a couple of trips to the Sweet 16. But off the court, I think he's meant as much to Kentucky and women's basketball as he has on the court.
Oh, definitely, and it's so good to see him. I mean, you look at him, he looked great. And I said this before the game. I said, you know how sometimes when you retire, you end up looking better. You just look more refreshed. I mean, I can only imagine sitting where he is right now and watching this game. He's so used to being on the sideline, and he's right there. I mean, he's right behind Kyra. I could see him probably yelling like, you need to do this. Put so-and-so in. Why is Dre on the bench? But definitely a great person, a great coach, but even more, a better person. He's fun. Faith is a big part of who he is, and just his family is so important, and even the team is his family.
Treasure Hunt inside ties us up at 24. Tamika catching for Roy Philpott. And I mean, he made it a point when he stepped away and Kyra took over. It was her program, and he wanted to make sure that from her perspective, it felt like her program. Robin Benton with the elbow J, and Kentucky back in front. I mean, it almost got to the point where Coach Elsie had to go to him and said, hey, what would you do in this situation? We want your advice. And now he's back for the first time tonight. Got to be a lot of emotions running through his head this evening.
Yeah, definitely. And that was something even Coach Bruno's talked about, is this team is going to be playing tonight for Matthew Mitchell, and you can tell the energy that they have. It is DePaul able to get another basket and almost forced another turnover. Of course, you got Anissa Morrow head in the front of the press, so not only can she score on offense and do pretty much everything, but she also can lead the press break, be the head of the press, and almost force some turnovers.
1 minute into our second quarter, Morrow with 8 and 4. And DePaul will maintain that trapping full court pressure. And Kentucky breaks it easily once again.
And it looked like kind of a 2-3 zone, and Benton able to get to the basket again for 2.
I mean, this game so far, and tell me where I'm wrong here, it's got the feel of the second weekend of the tournament. Two teams with plenty of experience and star power just going after each other. And I think DePaul's got that kind of ability this year to win a couple of games in the dance, and certainly Kentucky does as well, Tamika.
Well, and I think both teams, when you look at DePaul and the schedule they've had thus far, and Coach Bruno talked about it, it's important for us to play top 25 teams because we challenge ourselves as coaches. We challenge the players. Benton on a roll right now, but we challenge our players, and then we want our players to challenge us as well. So Robin Benton able to knock down the 3, and DePaul down 26-30. We'll come back after the break.
Fun start back in Lexington, 30-26 our score. You see the Cats and their rank in several offensive categories this year. And Tamika, first in dropping dimes, almost 21 per game. The assist-to-turnover ratio has been outstanding, and almost 84 points per as well. The ironic thing about this graphic is Doug Bruno told us today, we want to lead the country in assists, but the team he's playing tonight, Tamika, is the one that actually does right now.
Yeah, the way they play, and it's funny, you look at Kentucky, and even at the beginning of the season, their lack of numbers as far as players on the court. I mean, they were at 12, then 11, then 10. They got all the way down to 8, and then added a player. And they really haven't had their full lineup. Blair Green goes out before the season, tears their Achilles. I mean, they haven't really had their core group. So one thing that Coach Chelsea has challenged the players is Ryan Howard cannot do everything. Other players have to step up. Other players have to score. And I think what you see with Howard is she's great at facilitating and passing the ball. Benton, great at facilitating. Massengale, her assist-to-turnover ratio is ridiculous right now as far as ridiculously good. And they're playing very well together with a limited number of players.
How difficult is it to do what you just said they want from Ryan Howard and her teammates, meaning you can't just pass it to her and expect her to make all the plays. You are the star. You know what it's like to be in that situation. You played with stars. You know what it's like to be around that situation. Is it hard playing with a star like Ryan Howard to make sure you don't just stare and watch what's going on?
Well, I think that's the problem. And you look at the last couple of years and the games that they've lost, and even tournament games that they lost, they stop and they just watch Ryan Howard. I think the one difference about this year's team that you're already seeing is that they're playing so much better together. And as a unit, Ryan, I would suppose, doesn't really feel like she has the pressure on her to do as much as she's had to in the past.
And I think an illustration of that, the togetherness, the cohesion. You look at the turnovers tonight compared to a year ago between these two teams, and Coach Elsie said she would be tracking this just like we would be. They had 23 turnovers against DePaul last year, only 2 to start this game this season. Morrow rejected, and Howard sneaking in.
Howard with the 2-hand block, not just the one hand. The 2-hand. Morrow does a great job of getting there, but Ryan Howard, the volleyball block.
Sonia Morris held in check so far. Nice move, couldn't get the bounce. Morrow hit the deck, 5th rebound. Somehow passes it outside to Rogers. And Morrow off glass, 10.7 boards already for the freshman.
Yeah, with 3 Kentucky players around her, somehow the ball dropped right in her hand, but Walker does not back down.
Jada
Spin move.
Walker, yeah, 8 points. Making her first career start tonight. Great flow in this game. 3-pointer off the mark. It'll be tracked down by Kentucky. Here comes Robin Benton. Little give and go. And Lexi Held was bumped.
Just one extra pass, not necessarily needed on the offense, but let's look at Morrow and what she's capable of doing. 3 players around her, and she's able to get the ball up. But Jada Walker, one of those players, gets out on the break and able to finish strong.
I mean, that was Walker versus Morrow, freshman v. freshman. And Jada won that battle for the time being.
It's almost like who wants it more. Morrow able to get yet another rebound and another finish at the basket. How she gets her number is doing things just like that, being around the basket, but she got a knack for the ball.
I mean, DePaul's offense on a lot of these possessions, shoot it up early, Morrow gets it and puts it back up and in. I mean, it's brilliant on a certain level. Morris the rebound.
6 for 8. Yeah, 6 for 8 right now.
And Held the runner. Ties it up again at 32. Not for long. Guess who?
Jada Walker.
34-32. Did I tell you this would be a fun game? I mean, this is incredible hoops to start in Lexington. And on cue, a deep 3 from the wing. DePaul back in front.
That's what you like to see. The offensive tenacity, these teams going at it.
Rogers from downtown. She now has 6. You mentioned the rivalry matchup just down the road at Louisville this weekend. 14 versus 7. Jeff Walsh probably watching tonight, trying to figure out what he can do against this Kentucky squad. Game will be on ESPN. Walker down low, patient, finding ways to score in an impressive fashion. I haven't finished telling you who scored the last bucket. There's another one for DePaul.
Just going back and forth, and you know, you talk both teams. The key to success is transition defense. So right now, I mean, I know you have to score to win games, but you got to play a little bit of defense in between.
Now, I'm with you on that. Now, I'm with you. You don't have to sell me. Walker behind the back. Walker left side of the paint. The dump off, and she turned it over.
That's a hard pass to make right there. It's that close to your offensive player.
Howard the block from behind, a late whistle, and a foul called.
And
free
will
throws
be
coming.
Howard's second foul. And it's going to be interesting with limited numbers. Do you keep her out or do you put her on the bench?
I mean, in a game like this, if I'm Ryan Howard, I'm looking over at coach. I don't know. You may need some more points here. You may need me, coach.
Yeah, but the difference is this is only the second quarter. And there's 4 quarters, a lot of game left. And you got to have, if you want to have a chance to win, you got to have Ryan Howard on the floor down the stretch. You need her now, too, but down the stretch for sure.
See, I'm talking like a fan. You're talking like somebody that understands the game and what needs to happen. So I'm siding with you for sure.
It's interesting. Darian Rogers is at the line right now. And I remember her. I knew her dad really well. I remember her as a young girl. And he would bring her around. She would come around a little bit. And as she got older, he was like, oh, my daughter's, really interested in basketball. I really want you to come around. I'm like, I just want her to love the game on her own, not be forced to have to love the game. And so this is my first time seeing her in a long time. And when I looked at the roster, I'm like, oh my goodness. Benton hits another shot. Yeah, but it's definitely good to see Rogers on the floor.
Like, that happens to me, and it instantaneously makes me feel old.
I don't.
You know what I mean?
We're not getting older.
Good. I'm going to take your word for that. Good box out.
I knew it was going to be Kentucky trying out a few different lineups. Definitely one of those things when you miss a player, when you have a player out like Driana Edwards, you got to have other people step up and play minutes, and you're seeing a different lineup now.
Wide open look. Three-pointer in and out. Morrow on the offensive glass, and she was hacked from behind. 12 points, 9 boards for the freshman in white, number 24 for DePaul.
I mean, it's interesting how you see Morrow go after the ball. Like, she was actually behind Owen and ended up in front of her with Owen following her, but it's just the way she goes after the ball.
Is that instincts when you watch a play like this?
She's behind Owen. She gets up, gets the shot. She's the one that ends up getting the foul. Owen does not box out, but, I mean, you got to pursue the basketball.
And by the way, if Howard was on the floor in that sequence, who knows? That could have been personal foul number 3. And Morrow hit the deck hard. Let's see what the whistle is.
The foul on Morrow.
And she'll be called for the personal.
You got to box out a player, but, you know, it's risk and reward. I mean, that's what Coach Bruno talks about, just even the way they play offense. Risk and reward from the standpoint of you're going to have to be aggressive on the board. And Deja Church Kiera Collier, gets called for that foul.
1-point lead for the Blue Demons out of the Big East. They were picked second in the preseason poll, only behind, of course, UConn. Of course, the Huskies no longer in the American Athletic Conference. They transitioned out after the 2020 season concluded. Now part of the Big East. And an offensive foul. That'll be called against Olivia Owens, so that's her second.
You got to really start watching these fouls called, but Massengale sees the wide open. Owen dips her shoulder, which she didn't even really have to do. All she had to do was just go straight up. She dips her shoulder. Morrow, great defensive position.
So Owens and Howard with 2 personals currently on the Kentucky bench. Something for Coach Elsey to keep in mind for the rest of this first half. Runner off the mark and a foul called. I mean, it's 5 or 6 seconds. The ball is down the floor after an outlet pass, after a make, after a miss. It doesn't matter. And the shot's going up.
Yeah, and that's how they play. That's what makes them such a fun team to watch. And, you know, one thing to note, Kentucky just brought in Nia Leveretter. This is, I believe, her 3rd game back. She was out for the first 5 games of the season with non-COVID-like symptoms, so just out for a little bit. So they're trying to work her back into the lineup. And if there's a game to get into, I don't know if this is the one where you're going to be going up and down. This is more like a track meet today.
Right, yeah, it is. One more free throw for Collier. You saw Ryan Howard back on the floor with the 2 fouls. Collier 2 for 2 at the stripe, lead up to 3.
And Jada Walker beats 2 players down the floor. Treasure Hunt sets up.
Hunt off the mark, and a foul called as Hunt battled hard for that loose basketball.
Following her own shot, and I think Morrow gets called for the foul.
And that's her second. Tamika.
The difference between Kentucky and DePaul is DePaul just keep bringing fire. They keep subbing in fire after more fire. So Kentucky doesn't have, they can't afford to get into foul trouble with DePaul. They got a couple more players over there on the bench that can bring the heat.
I think DePaul be a team that ends up in the top 25 by the end of this year as Hunt was fouled. Currently receiving votes in the AP top 25. Treasure Hunt 6 points, 2 for 2 at the line so far, under 3 to play in our first half. Don't forget, coming up at halftime, Matthew Mitchell will sit down with us and we'll talk about his return to Lexington and watching the Cats play in person for the first time since he stepped aside before the start of last season.
Don't worry, I'll be right here, Roy. I'm right here with you.
Hunt will get one more. And don't forget, coming up this weekend, I'll be on the call on the men's side, Tennessee and UNC Greensboro from Thompson Bowling Arena, Saturday, 4:30, right here on the SEC Network and also the ESPN app. If you haven't seen the freshman Kennedy Chandler, I invite you to tune in Saturday, 4:30. He has been dynamic this year as one of the best players in the SEC.
Which team was that again?
The Tennessee Volunteers.
Oh, okay. I just wanted to make sure.
Yeah. The top 15 Tennessee Volunteers.
And Kentucky on the run. Ooh, good hands. Lexi held.
Foul called after she stole it.
And Jada Walker not able. It's just a little bit too loose with the basketball. Lexi held able to get her hands in, and that's the second foul on Walker. So you got 3 big pieces of your offense with 2 fouls.
Owens, Howard, and Walker as Lexi held at the stripe. She's got about 50 friends and family in the building tonight. Preseason all Big East. Burlington, Kentucky. There they are. And she's off to a good start. She's got 5 points. A couple early buckets. Missed the free throw there.
You mentioned this earlier, but one of the things when you look at DePaul and you look at the scoring numbers, Lexi Held, Shania Morris, Morrow, Rogers, when you look at that, Ryan Howard get that to fall. But you look at the numbers and you think about how do you allow every single player to get the point, to get into double-digit scoring? And really it comes down to what you said, the assist. How do you get the most assists for your teammate?
Transition, Hunt lost it. And it'll stay on this end, approaching 2 to go in the first half. Quick hands of Deja Church. Howard had position. She'll get it top of the key. Sixth all-time meeting. DePaul's won only 1 time, and that was their last meeting a year ago. Shot clock under 10. First time tonight we've said that. And the pass sails out of bounds.
That's the right idea right there for that pick and roll. DePaul doing a great job. They're basically switching every single screen, and Kentucky needs to do a better job of capitalizing and taking their post down low, and the guards get switched out.
Good look inside. Kelja connects. Tamika, I do want to ask you, Kentucky, interestingly enough, 0 for 7 from deep to start. Cats trailing by 3. They got to make some threes at some point tonight, right?
Well, I think that'll come, and one of the things that they really have been able to do.
And an offensive foul, the 3rd on Ryan Howard. Wow.
Well, you got to pull her out now. I mean, your second quarter, 1 minute and 11 seconds left. In the second quarter, you got 20 minutes of the game left. And Held a great job moving her feet, beating Ryan Howard to the spot. And Ryan Howard called for her 3rd foul. Look at the bench reaction, though.
They are in it, as are we tonight. Block at the rim. And here come the Cats the other way. Benton had the hot hand to start the second quarter. She scored 6 of Kentucky's first 8 points. Hunt goes to work, double team, puts it up. Can't finish. Chance now for DePaul to expand the lead. 3-pointer off the mark. Held gets it back, up and in. 46-41. Shot clock is off.
DePaul all over the board. They're getting up and down the floor. You can tell Kentucky is kind of running out of gas a little bit.
Benton lost the handle. Stolen by DePaul, and a quick whistle and a foul. Both teams in the bonus. Free throws coming for the Blue Demons, and a good start for Doug Bruno's club on the road.
Yeah, very good. They are definitely the aggressor thus far. It started with Anish Morrow and how great she was down low, but everybody else. And now Lexi held her defensive stance, the steal that she got off Jada Walker, along with her second foul, the foul that she created off of Ryan Howard to be her third foul. And you see the DePaul team rolling at the right moment.
Kelja's yet to miss a free throw this season, 7 for 7 now. She's been a spark off the bench, 5 points. Don't forget, Matthew Mitchell's retirement celebration at halftime. We'll sit down. The former Kentucky coach, get his thoughts on an emotional return to the arena tonight for the first time since his retirement. And a foul inside against the Blue Demons.
That's a good drive right there by Treasure Hunt. Get the ball to the basket. Either you make the shot or you get fouled and get to the free throw line. Or even better than that, you can get the and one.
So Treasure Hunt at the stripe, 3 of 4 at the line tonight, 7 points. And Matthew Mitchell will address the crowd at Rupp at halftime. He'll sit down and talk with us, and Tamika and I were wondering how many questions we would be able to get in. You know, he hasn't spoken a lot since he retired. He may have a lot to say tonight, Tamika. I don't know. I may get one question and that's it. We'll see.
Hey, yeah, well, if nothing else, we will definitely be entertained, and especially if he has some ice cream before he comes on, this is a wrap.
There we go. Big free throws here for Kentucky. 48-43. Impressive start for DePaul on the road against top 15 UK. Inside Rupp Arena, 48-43 is our score. Well, the good news is we've got 20 minutes left of this outstanding basketball game. Kentucky trailing DePaul at home by 5. Tamika Catchings, Roy Philpott. Just heard from Matthew Mitchell at halftime. He's been honored the entire evening, back for the first time since stepping away from coaching in last November of 2020. Inside, a good start for the Cats. The bucket for Ryan Howard with the 3 personal fouls.
Bucket for Ryan Howard, and you could tell a little bit of testiness going on down there. Ryan Howard scored the basket and gives the ball to Lexi Held, who gives it right back. So no backing down here.
Hey, look, I'm okay with it. I think basketball needs a little bit more of that in a respectful, you know, non-confrontational way, but I think it gives the fans something to talk about. And here comes Kentucky, a great start in our third quarter. And for the lead off the mark, Hunt the rebound on the offensive glass. Tamika, can I get away with suggesting that? Is that okay?
Depends who's listening right now, Roy.
Okay, all right.
Listening.
All right,
but you know,
I think,
I mean, you definitely get to that point. And I mean, going into halftime, we talked about Ryan Howard having to step up. You know, she got 3 fouls, and definitely not the place that she needs. Her team needs her to be is on the bench. She needs to be on the floor. So I think coming out, establishing herself right off the bat, getting to the line for the and one. I don't mind a little bit of that. Hopefully that will continue for the rest of the third quarter into the fourth.
Well, if you're just tuning in, you've missed 6 ties, 8 lead changes so far. And Kentucky with 4 straight points to start our third quarter, and a couple of DePaul turnovers as well. Doug Bruno doesn't like it.
No, that's 3 fouls that DePaul has been called on. 2 that went to the free throw line, and of course this last one, Morris on Jada Walker, and that will give Morris her 2nd foul.
So Sonya Morris, a senior out of St. Louis, preseason All-Big East performer. Sit down on the bench, and certainly not liking that sequence.
Yeah, always a bad call. You're fighting, and sometimes it just gets a little bit too aggressive.
There's Ryan Howard operating from the elbow. Silky smooth on glass, and a chance for 3. What a start for Ryan Howard.
Well, they have 4 possessions, Kentucky has. 2 out of the 4 have been Ryan Howard. Now this is the 2nd and 1 getting to the line, and Lexi Held called for that foul, but great look right there. And she'll have another chance to finish it at the free throw line.
2nd on Held. 3 points the hard way for Ryan Howard. Hey, what did Coach Elsie tell us today? We want her to get things going before the third quarter. That's something we've talked to her about. Instead of trying to get everybody involved, it's okay to be aggressive. Well, the start of the third quarter is here, and she's being aggressive now, so it's working on some level, I guess.
Well, I mean, she had 4 points coming into halftime and coming out of halftime, and now she's at 10 points. It makes a big difference when she's scoring with Kentucky up by 2.
Foul was called on Hunt. That's her first. DePaul back to work. Another turnover. Howard on the move. And an offensive foul.
Well, Ryan Howard's so good at pulling up, shoot the ball. You're wide open right there. Take one extra dribble, and just not a smart play on her side. Collier, great job with getting her feet set, and now Ryan Howard on the bench.
And you commented on Lexi Held in the second quarter, who had a similar kind of play drawing the offensive foul. So not even a minute into our second half, Howard on the bench. Deja Church with a mid-range. We're tied at 50.
Well, it really is going to be about other players stepping up and having a score for Kentucky. And DePaul trying to figure out, trying to get back into the rhythm. They had a slow start at the beginning of the game. And, you know, that was something Coach Bruno talked about. We've got to do a better job of starting off the game. And I think that also will apply to starting off the third quarter.
Turnover. Remember, too, Kentucky without the services. Drea Edwards this evening held left wide open, and it's all net. DePaul back in front.
Great run. Morrow, their 5 player, takes the ball off the basket, off the rebound, and takes the ball on the break.
Walker attacking. Shot partially blocked. Here comes DePaul. Wide open is Church launching and connecting. Just like that, DePaul grabs a 6-point lead. An 8-0 run, 2 minutes into our second half, and what a game this is turning out to be. Blue Demons on top for now. Hey, don't forget, Wednesday is National Signing Day. Alyssa, Craig, and Roman got you covered with a special SEC Now Signing Day special. It's noon Eastern right here on the SEC Network, the ESPN app. Wall-to-wall coverage, all 14 Southeastern Conference schools. Find out first where the nation's top football recruits will land. That is coming up this Wednesday. 6-point lead for DePaul. Tamika Catchings, Roy Philpott shooting the 3 ball. It's what they do.
Yeah, they pass the ball and they find the open player held wide open on the side of the court. You see Rogers streaking down the floor and finds a wide open Collier open for 3, knocked down, and that's just 6 points right there. I mean, DePaul is known for their 3 points, but shooting 45% from the 3, 54% from the field goal. It is hard to beat a team that is shooting the ball that well.
And Tamika, you've forgotten more basketball than I'll ever know. I'm just looking at the first 2 minutes of this second half. And Kentucky opens up on a 7-0 run. DePaul follows that up with an 8-0 run in 60 seconds. And Ryan Howard just picked up her 4th personal foul. There was more drama in those 2 minutes than a junior high lunch table in 2.5 weeks. I mean, that was insane, what we just saw.
Yes, but you gotta love it, and that is why we play sports, ladies and gentlemen. But Deja Church right there, 11 points, 5 for 9. She was the one. It wasn't Collier. It was her that knocked down that last 3. And you can tell DePaul, they're feeling themselves right now.
Picked second in the Big East preseason poll. There's a steal. Free throw jump shot is good, and it bounced in for Bekelja. And DePaul now leads it by 8, their largest advantage of the game.
Yeah, Kentucky's struggling. DePaul put the full-court press up, and just Kentucky is struggling. Yeah, this is an interesting stat. Kentucky had 12 turnovers. DePaul has 22 points off of their 12 turnovers. I mean, that's a big difference in this game.
And it really feels like, Tamika, that the majority of those miscues have occurred in about the last 5 minutes, going back to the end of the first half. Because remember, we were talking about it midway through the second quarter. They only had 2 turnovers at that point. The whole pace of this game has changed.
DePaul, they've just been steady. You know, I feel like Kentucky has kind of had their highs and the lows, and you know, they've had players getting foul trouble. And Benton able to find an opening and get it in. Morrow.
12. Wow. I thought that was going to drop for a minute. I don't know how she had a chance to even make the shot because she was 2 feet under the rim towards the baseline there, and she somehow almost made it.
Yeah, just maneuvered her body. Able to get it up, though. Almost made it. And Bekelja almost got that rebound.
I want to ask you this. At what point do you bring 10 back on the floor with the 4 personals?
You bring Howard back?
Yeah.
In the fourth quarter with maybe 2 or 3 minutes left to go. Yeah.
Really?
You try to trust her, which Kyra tried to lever at her, able to knock down that shot, but you try to trust her in the second quarter. She picked up her third. You know going into the third quarter, she got 3. She can't afford to pick up her 4th, and she does. So I think you got to play it smart.
58-54. We'll see when Coach Elsley decides to bring back in the preseason player of the year in the SEC. But Church was thinking about it. Instead turns it over. An opportunity. Massagill. Here comes DePaul. Quickly. Other end of the floor and the easy bucket. 60-54.
Yeah, great look. Rogers able to get that finish. And Kentucky had an opportunity for that layup. Not able to make it.
And with your star player on the bench with 4 personals, without the services of your second leading scorer tonight, Brianna Edwards, those are the kinds of transition opportunities you got to convert on. Benton launching.
Interesting, you know, Kentucky, you look at the players that they have out. One player that we have not seen thus far is Owens, another low post presence.
She picked up 2 fouls there in that second quarter. Church comes up short. Rebound cleared by Rogers. Good look inside. Rejected. That was Benton.
I love the way both teams are fighting. You'd almost think that this is, you know, a tournament game the way they're playing, but gotta love the energy that they're both playing with.
You know, I've been fortunate enough to call maybe the last 5 years of the big dance and through the, you know, second round. And I think even last year we got a 3rd round game. This game has that exact feel of the second weekend of the dance with these 2 programs who I think have enough star power, enough experience, and certainly the coaching, Tamika, to make an extended run in the tournament. I think that's what we're seeing here tonight.
Yeah, definitely, and you're seeing it early in the season. I mean, conference play hasn't even started. That will start in the new year. So having games like this, though, they definitely prepare you when you get down the road, when you get into tougher schedules and playing against tougher teams. And, of course, like, at least you know now, if you lose, you learn, you grow, and you move on. When you get to the big dance, you don't get those opportunities. So these are good games to have early.
Yeah, and we like these kinds of matchups, and we've seen that more this season. South Carolina, UConn, and I'm not sure anybody's going to beat the Gamecocks this year, and the great job that Don Staley has done, but we'll see.
Yeah, South Carolina looked really good, and yeah, I talked about the weapon coming off for DePaul, but I mean, you look at South Carolina, no matter who she puts on the floor, it's like domination.
Morrow inside, called for the personal as Owens had position. That's going to be her 3rd. So Morrow with 3. Ryan Howard on the bench with 4. And an interesting development here in this 3rd quarter, and maybe an opportunity now for the Cats to gain some ground, even with their star sidelined.
Well, it's important. We just talked about Owens, and here we see her at the free throw line, hopefully able to knock down the second one. But you start looking at games like this definitely prepare you as you get down the road and get ready for conference play, and then, of course, leading into the tournament.
The Blue Demons have faced a tenacious early season schedule. Doug Bruno does that with the thought in mind of getting his team ready for the dance. And you look at the slate, I mean, they've played 5 teams already. Probably going to make the field this season.
But also helped in where you get placed as you start looking down, and you got Charlie Clean doing all the projections down the road, but your schedule plays a lot into where you get placed.
Putback is there, 64-55. Danger zone right now for the Cats. And Kyra Elsey having that same vibe that we were halfway through the third. Paul out in front by 9. Work to do for Big Blue Nation. Well, halfway through our third quarter, Doug Bruno talking things over with his team, and a good start on the road. And wouldn't you know it, 43 years ago to the day, Doug Bruno, the head coach of the Chicago Hustle, the Women's Pro Basketball League, and the first ever game that took place in that league, the first ever Women's Pro Basketball contest against Milwaukee 43 years ago to the day. And a young Doug, Tamika. How about that? You got to love that look.
Well, you got to love it. 43 years ago, Chicago Hustle. I'm just saying, we're celebrating Title IX. We're celebrating 50 years of Title IX next year. And I got to do what I do. And what I did, I was able to play professional basketball because of these young women. And, of course, Doug Bruno, huge advocate for women's basketball.
The Legends of the Ball, nonprofit organization formed by 12 members of the WBL. And 7 of those original members played for Doug Bruno when he was the head coach of the Chicago Hustle. And I love your perspective, Tamika, on that. And honestly, I just wanted to get quiet as soon as I could, because I wanted to hear what it meant to you. And, you know, as a father that has 2 young daughters, and I think about them, the world they're going to grow up in, and the opportunities that they will have. It's unbelievable.
Well, it's awesome, too, just thinking about, you know, like just the mission of Legends of Ball to promote the social and historic relevance of the WBL, to inspire future generations to break through barriers, realize their potential, and become positive leaders for change. And, I mean, you see it right now. We're watching it. We're watching these games, and we're watching all these young women. The WNBA, we just celebrated 25 years this past season, so a lot of great evolution from these women, you know. Wasn't for Chicago Hustle and Doug Bruno and the WBL, where would we be, people?
100%, 100%. 43 years ago today. Incredible.
And Doug, he didn't want to talk about it earlier. He just said, oh, you know what, I want to win the game. Let's talk about it 5 hours later. So let's focus on the game first, and then if you wanted to go back, if we want to go back, I'll go back with you. But that's him. That's Doug. Great finish right there. Great follow.
King, the putback, 64-59. We got a great basketball game going on tonight. I'd say Doug Bruno's team has been focused to start. 6 all-time meeting between these two. Here's a steal. Off and running is Benton. 1 possession affair. And a timeout called. Robin Benton, Tamika, now with 16 points, and she's giving UK the production that it's been missing with Ryan Howard on the bench with the 4 fouls.
Well, she definitely needed to when somebody else has had to step up. Benton with 16, Walker with 13, Hunt with 10, Howard with 10, Owens with 6. I mean, all players are contributing to this Kentucky game. And, of course, Robin Benton, she's just been active all night. You see the steal right here, but even earlier in the game, there was a period of time where she scored like 3 or 4 buckets in a row. And you talk about being focused, having that aggressiveness, that is what she's done thus far.
Lead is 3. You see Benton's production. Really the only player for UK is Massengill that we haven't seen hit one of those scoring barrages this evening, but she's dropping dimes and doing what she does, according to Coach Elsey. We'll see what happens in our final 13 minutes and change between these two outstanding programs.
It's been a lot of fun, a lot of ups and downs and highs and lows on both sides. And you see the run, one team gets to run, the next team gets to run, but biggest difference is Kentucky, or rather DePaul, has done a great job of knocking down threes, which Kentucky has really struggled from the three-point tonight, 0 for 9.
Treasure Hunt whistled for the infraction. Sophomore out of Chattanooga, it'll stay with DePaul. Yeah, 0 for 9. At some point you feel like that's going to change, and maybe if it does, that'll be what gets UK in position to win this. How about the inbounds playing the easy basket?
Oh, I like that. I think I saw 3 different DePaul players jump up. Sonia Moritz is the one that ended up connecting and making it.
I'm glad you figured out who did, because I couldn't. It happened so quickly. Benton with 18. And the pace starting to pick back up for both sides.
Ooh. And 2 Kentucky players collide. Shoe on the ground.
Rogers the rebound, held from downtown. And a foul on the putback is Collier working hard inside. I mean, this should have been a turnover, Tamika.
Yeah, it almost was. And, you know, Walker and Benton going for the ball at the same time. Benton's shoe comes off. And that's a hard hit right there. Kentucky can't afford, like, they both go down at the same time.
I mean, you had elbows, knees, and tennis shoes flying all over the court. Just a bit unlucky for Walker and Benton.
Well, you're just glad if you're Kyra Elvey, you're just glad that you got your players up. And Benton walking to the bench.
And Benton right now is leading you with those 16 points. Edwards is not playing tonight. Howard's on the bench with those 4 personals. And Kentucky, who's yet to make a 3-point shot, is only trailing by 3.
And Benton needs to take a little bit of a break, a little bit of a rest, but know if you're Kyra Elvey, you're just waiting to get her back in the game.
I'm going to ask you again here in another minute if Howard's going to see the court anytime soon, and you're going to tell me no, but I'm just getting you ready.
Okay, well, not in the 3rd quarter, maybe the 4th quarter. Oh,
and Howard
right
back on the court, Tamika. She's there.
That's a risk. That's the big risk right there, but you hope that she's going to play it smart. And, she only has 1 more foul.
Pressure by the Cats. DePaul breaks through. Here's Rogers.
And look at Kentucky's in a 2-3 zone. One thing you look at DePaul, they'll reverse the ball, move it, try to find the open player, and a good look by Collier.
Does Coach Elsey go to the zone to protect Howard and the 4 fouls a little bit as Hunt loses it? Walker gets it right back. And Howard stepped out. I mean, can you go to the 2-3 to protect your bigs that's got the 4 personals, and that'll help her out a little bit, perhaps?
Well, yeah, I mean, I think when you look at Ryan's fouls, 3 of her 4 have been on the offensive end. So, you know, even though you put the 2-3 zone in to protect her, I think really is you're losing players, and DePaul just keeps going. Rogers knocks down a big 3. DePaul up by 7.
She has 13. That's her 3rd shot from downtown. Critical final 60 seconds and change in our 3rd quarter. Treasure Hunt feeling it. She's got 12.
Well, one thing DePaul has to do, they just got to stay in attack mode. And you know, Kentucky, they're just trying to take bite-sized pieces.
How about that steal? Here comes Howard. In and out for Walker, and Howard got rid of that ball, Tamika, because she didn't want to pick up that 5th foul offensively.
Well, yeah, and really great body control, and just, I mean, Howard can score. Getting it to the basket, she has a nice pull-up jumper, which we haven't really seen. I think tonight she really tried to settle with getting to the basket, and it's gotten her in trouble a little bit. So Robin Benton will come in and put Ryan Howard back on the bench. Good to see that she's feeling okay and back on the floor.
I knew you were going to like that move, though, because it protects Howard to the fourth quarter, right?
Oh, yeah. I mean, you got to have her down the stretch.
Another three, Sonya Morris.
Big-time players make big-time plays, and DePaul 7 for 19 from the three-point, but they're hitting the threes at the right time.
And a traveling violation gives it right back to DePaul. Can play for the final shot of our third quarter. You know, King shuffled the feet. Kyra Elsey going to have to go back to the drawing board in these final 10 minutes.
What did you ask her earlier? You asked her, what is it like when she spazzes out? What was the exact question that you asked? But I hope we don't get to see that tonight.
She said there would be feet stomping and waving of hands. Treasure Hunt the rejection. Big time defensive play. Here comes Big Blue. And the runner off the top of the backboard. 8-point lead for DePaul. Kyra Elsey, her team still with a chance.
Great team, really figuring it out. KJ definitely getting the players together, and it's always fun when I get to watch my old teammates. So watching tonight, watching Kyra Elsey coach this Kentucky team, it's a lot of fun to see our players. And Ryan Howard on the floor at the beginning of the fourth, gets that steal.
Oh, coast to coast, she missed the chippy. What are we doing? Three-pointer off the mark by Massagill. Here comes DePaul. We'll circle that moment right there. I don't know if you'll ever see that again in Ryan Howard's career. It's been that kind of night with the 4 fouls. Treasure Hunt lost the basketball out of bounds.
That's okay. You think about Ryan Howard. I mean, we've all missed those kind of layups. It's happened to all of us. You just got to figure out how to regroup, get yourself together, and you still got 9 minutes to play some ball.
Sonya Morris down low. The lead swells to 10.
Yeah, Morris has definitely come alive in the second half. Struggled with the early foul at the beginning of the second half or third quarter, and since she's been back on the court, you could tell she's just been really focused.
Morris with 11. And a foul called as Lexi Held whistled for the infraction. Kentucky native coming back home. Started every game this year, preseason all Big East. And she's had a successful return to her home state with 10 points. All right, if you're Kentucky, you're Kyra Elsey, what are you telling them right now to try to get this thing turned around about 9 minutes to go?
Well, I think it's interesting. I mean, Ryan Howard obviously is on the floor, but she's probably going to play really passive right now to make sure. And Treasure Hunt able to get that 2 to knock down. And, I think it's just going to be important. You got to chip away. DePaul, you got to stay aggressive, which is what they're doing. And, you see Deja Church able to knock down. But you got to make stops. Kyra Elsey's team, you got to make stops. Obviously, you got to make the baskets. I know you love offense. And for DePaul, I think it's just stay aggressive.
Kentucky 0 for 10 from behind the three-point arc. Last game where they did not make a three was way back in March of 2019 against Missouri. So that probably has to change at some point. DePaul, the 10-point lead now in possession. Held inside Morrow. She's got 16 and 12.
Yeah, it's really interesting when you think about Kentucky and you think about the difference between the teams that have played. I think DePaul has played probably a tougher schedule as of late in non-conference play than Kentucky has, and you're really starting to see that tonight.
Benton on the floor. She's got 18. That's a season high with possession now. Shot clock winding down. And a steal by Morrison. What a save to Rogers. Well, that had Showtime written all over it for a minute before the pass went out of bounds, Tamika.
It sure did. And DePaul, I mean, that's what they do so well. Sonya Morris gets the steal, able to find Rogers, and Rogers just going a little bit too fast. But you're right, that was Showtime for sure.
Largest lead for the Blue Demons at 12. 7.5 to go in Lexington. You mentioned that schedule. DePaul's already played 2 league games in the Big East. So they're going back out of conference tonight. Shot clock at 7. Contested mid-range is there. That's a big bucket for Massengill. And maybe this is Jazz's moment.
Well, they needed that from her. And Massengill has not been as aggressive as far as the offensive end. This now sitting at 4 points. She's 2 for 8, but they needed this shot right here. Deja Church gets called for the foul, but Massengill just rising up right into a jump shot. And we had a conversation with Coach Elsie earlier today, and she talked about Massengill and her shot. She said she's shooting a great percentage. We got her, get her to take more shots, and so it's good to see her rise up on this one.
This Kentucky program went on a quick trip down to Fort Campbell to do a little preseason activities, and Jazz Massengill was kind of the glue that held all of that together when they had to run 1.5 miles, then carry a heavy backpack another 1.5 miles, and do a bunch of stuff all at once. It was not easy, according to Coach Elsie, but Jazz's determination and grit kind of helped lead the charge. Fort Campbell Army base, Tamika.
Definitely one of those things, and allowed the players to grow more respect. But she was coaching not just the players, but also the coaching staff. I don't know how Kyra did it. I said, now why would you choose a team activity like that? Knowing you were going to have to do it as well, but they made it through. They're here.
Here's King from downtown, in and out. Last basket for DePaul by Deja Church. And an injured player for the Blue Demons. That's Lexi Held. And grabbing that left ankle. Remember, she's got over 50 friends and family in attendance tonight. Just came down on the shoe.
It's never a good moment if you're a parent and you're sitting in the crowd. Good to see her walk.
In pain, but appears to be okay for the moment. The senior from Burlington. Lead is 11, 6.5 to go. DePaul with possession. Tamika Catchings, Roy Philpott. So glad you could join us tonight. This Big East SEC battle. DePaul on the move.
Think about Held. Held had the double-double. 10 points, 10 assists. Where did that sneak up? I don't know, Roy. Like, how did you not see that earlier?
I mean, you're breaking news to me right now, but that's pretty special when you come back home and you got 10 and 10 dimes. I mean, that's a good night at the office, right?
Well, I mean, not just that. Think about the defensive possession. And you see right here, Sonia Morris able to rise up against Jada Walker. But you think about the defense effort that Held has had thus far. I mean, Ryan Howard has 2 offensive fouls with Held guarding him.
Yeah, that's as significant as anything that we've seen tonight, and that includes her 10 dimes. And a blocking foul called here against Morris. Or check that, that's Deja Church. Of course, that's the first game for the Huskies without Paige Beckers, but still noteworthy that little Nell Yes is getting it done. Cats will be in the bonus from here on out. Then a little stop and pop. That's a good sign. Lead down to 9.
Well, 6 minutes left to go. Benton finding her groove. Massengill finding her groove. Ryan Howard, everybody always used to say the last couple of years, comes alive down the stretch in the 4th quarter, but it's good to see other players stepping up.
Morrow off the mark, tapped out of bounds. Back to the Cats. So Howard at this point, Tamika, you would think Coach Elsie probably would agree here that she needs to start to become more aggressive because we're getting near the end of this one.
I think you want her to be aggressive, but obviously smart aggressive. And Yeah, I think the difference, too, with Held being out of the game, like Held's defense was containing Ryan Howard a little bit.
Held back on the floor. Good sign for DePaul. And a good look outside, Bekelja. More on the offensive glass and puts it up and in. 18 and 15 for the freshman. Kentucky back the other way, and Benton connects. She's got 22.
I think we're about to go into the track meet. The last couple minutes of the game, both teams, they both averaged about 80 points per game. DePaul, 88.2 points per game. Kentucky, 83.6. They're right on target.
Morrow from the outside, no good. Rebound to Howard. Here come the Cats and Treasure Hunt. Big possession here.
And I don't like that shot for Treasure Hunt. I want to see her either do a spin move around Lexi Held, but she's got to get to the basket and get Held to foul her.
Held the bounce pass. Hunt the rebound. Kelja had a chance there. The spin by Walker. Up and in, and a chance for three. Big moment for the freshman.
That's the play that you want right there. You want going to the basket, forcing DePaul to force the hand. Jada Walker to the basket, 76-83. I mean, what else can you say when you see Jada Walker trucking down the middle? Get out of her way.
Yeah, it's coming up Sunday right here on SEC Network. Florida State and Florida from Gainesville, 1 o'clock Eastern. The time is now for the Gators to break a 5-game streak against the Noles. Also, of course, on the ESPN app. One app, one tap. Back in Lexington, free throw coming for Jada Walker and Matthew Mitchell. Honored at halftime. We sat down to talk with him as well. The winningest coach, UK women's basketball history. Great to see him back on the floor, Tamika.
It's always good to see Matthew Mitchell, and especially when you get to be the Y. I mean, wouldn't want it any other way, right, Matthew?
Well, the big story tonight, Ryan Howard, the 4 personal fouls, and Robin Benton stepping up the production in her absence. 22 points on 11 of 14 from the floor.
Well, and also her season high. You look at Benton, she had definitely stepped up. Dre Edwards not able to play with the team today. Other players had to step up for that production, and Benton has definitely been more focused, more energized. You see on the offensive end, defensively, we know she's always been capable and always been a defensive stopper, but it's the offense that you've really been impressed with tonight, and I love the passion and the energy. See her numbers right there, but the game's not over yet. We still got 4 minutes to go.
4:06, and a free throw will make it a 6-point contest. Hey, give me the update for all of our viewers in real time on what's going on in that UConn-Georgia Tech game, because we mentioned it kind of a few minutes ago, or at least I attempted to in all of my ignorance, but you got the update. What do we got? What's going on?
48 seconds left to go. Georgia Tech is up 57-44. Now, of course, this is the first game UConn had played since Paige Beckers went out last week. So they're still trying to find their rhythm, and it's a lot different. I mean, Beckers and what she brings to that UConn team, you're going to have other people that are going to have to step up, and those are some big shoes to fill.
Well, big shoes to fill tonight. Robin Benton doing that with those 22, just 1 point off of her career high during her time at Auburn. The lead down to 6, 4 minutes to go. Crunch time has arrived in Lexington. Morrow missed the chippy. Put back is there for Rogers, and how great has she been tonight? She's got 15.
Yeah, Rogers everywhere, knocking down twos, knocking down threes. I mean, she's 3 for 8 from the three-point land, getting to the basket. She's 1 rebound away from a double-double as well. So, I mean, we haven't said this about Morrow, but she has 18 points and 16 rebounds. Rogers, 15 points, 9 rebounds. And you just go down the lineup. Church, 15 points. Held, 10 points. Morris, 11. Rogers, 15. Morrow, 18. I mean, this team, they know how to score. And then the 2 other players have 8 points. So all they need is 1 basket. And and you'll get to see that. So looking at the score, Georgia Tech did win 57-44, a big win, sitting at 7-2, and UConn down to 5-2.
Deja Church on the penetration. 17 on the board for her, and the lead back to 10. Jada Walker says hello.
Yeah, one great thing about DePaul, when you really look at their lineup, all the way down to Morrow, anybody can bring the ball up. So you can get the rebound, you can attack the basket. Darian Rogers, yet another one. Great pass by Morris, just a nice little right-hand slide through. No rotation on the backside from Kentucky. But I think that's been one of the benefits for DePaul is they play fast because anybody can dribble the ball up the court.
That's a great observation. Walker the step back. Rebound to Church, and DePaul right now in prime position to get a road win against a top 15 team out of the SEC. Morris with 13.
And one thing LZ did not want, she talked about it earlier, is, we can't have a repeat of what happened last year. So keys to the game, defend the three-point line. Well, right now, think about DePaul shooting 32%, 7 for 22. Transition defense. They've gotten a lot of points off the transition defense tonight. Playing downhill, pounding the ball inside, taking care of the ball, and those were the keys to the game. 14 Kentucky turnovers, 22 points from DePaul off those turnovers.
Tamika, you see that final score that you just talked about. Remember now, UConn is in the Big East. DePaul is in the Big East, and those two programs predicted at the top of the conference in the preseason poll. Paige Becker's out for at least 6 to 8 weeks. That puts the Blue Demons' Doug Bruno in prime position. So when Kentucky looks back on this game, the Cats lose it. It's not going to look all that bad on the resume considering what DePaul could be later this season given what's happening in the Big East.
Yeah, definitely agree with you. And I mean, he's talked about the schedule that he'd like to play, but what you just said, I mean, that makes sense. And even as you think about tournament play down the road and where rankings, so you beat number 14 Kentucky, you're not even ranked, you get into the top 25. UConn loses to Georgia Tech, which is not one of the top 25. So there will be a lot of movement as we look at the top 25 in the upcoming week. And it's always fun. I mean, I say this all the time. Rankings in the beginning of the season are so hard to look at because this is based off of performances from last year. There's been so many transfers, so it's hard, like the transfer portal and players moving to different schools. You gotta keep all of that in mind. And so even as you're looking at ranking, you gotta keep that in perspective.
Morrow now with 4 personals. Morris has 4. Church has 4 for DePaul, but only 2 minutes left to play. And Kentucky in the bonus. Treasure Hunt will get one more.
Now, this game has been a lot of highs and lows. You see Treasure Hunt with 15 points, but it's almost like Kentucky's not going away. DePaul just keep going, and every once in a while you look up and it's like, okay, the point spread is wide, but then Kentucky just keep fighting.
Morris nearly turned it over. Cats need to D it up here. Church, wide open path to the basket. Church with 19.
Bad foot angle on the defensive end. Church, great job of attacking the high leg.
And Tamika, Kentucky, 0 of 13 from deep. Hunt went for the steal. Morrow comes away with it. Little Euro step and blocked by Howard out of bounds.
That's what Howard can do, and I think even her being in the fourth quarter, she really hasn't been aggressive, trying not to get her 5th foul. So she's playing not to win the game, she's playing not to get fouled out, and I think there's a big difference between the Ryan Howard that we know and the Ryan Howard that's trying not to get her 5th foul.
So between her foul troubles, Kentucky's struggles from deep, kind of paints a picture on what went down tonight against a really good DePaul team. Treasure Hunt inside.
Well, DePaul, good. I mean, we knew coming into this game, you look at the numbers and how they play offensively, defensively. And one of the questions we asked Coach Bruno is, how is your team that good offensively and how do you share the ball, but even defensively? And you're able to see that tonight and just how well they play together, and they protect each other on the defensive end.
Morrow double team, picks it up, and turns it over. So Morrow on the traveling violation. Freshman gives it back to Kentucky. She's got her 18 points and 17 rebounds this evening. Runner's no good and poked out back to DePaul with just 31 seconds remaining. This is an impressive team. I mean, we knew that coming in, Tamika, but impressive on the road. Poured in 93 points in the process. This is a team to contend with in the Big East and later on in postseason play, perhaps.
I'm more so impressed just with the numbers, the point, but the way they share the ball, the rebound. I mean, every single player has an assist that played for the most part. Every single player has scored. I mean, there's just a lot of things that you look at the box score and it's just kind of like, this is the team. This is the fun team to watch. It's a team that shared the ball. Doug Bruno's goal of being #1 in assists in the nation. I mean, that's something that you could very well see down the road.
They have 25 dimes tonight. Kentucky with just 11. And it was Kentucky that came into this contest leading the nation in assists per game. Don't forget the big matchup Sunday. Big Blue Nation in Louisville. One of the great rivalries in all of college sports. And a top 15 showdown.
We'll be headed up to that game. Definitely going to be in the house. I'll be in Cardinal Nation.
It's going to be fun. I'll be watching. Game will be televised on ESPN Sunday. So 15 seconds remaining, and we'll touch base. Doug Bruno, as soon as this one ends, get his take on what went down tonight. But so efficient, 51% from the floor, the 7 threes, and just imposing their will on Kentucky as Howard was fouled.
And out of 8 players that played for Kentucky, 5 in double figures, and Bruno's upset on the sideline.
He didn't want Lexi trying to D up Ryan Howard with just 9 seconds remaining. Let's get out of here. Feel you on that one, Doug. We feel you. But Lexi coming home. Those 11 assists and 10 points. The rare double-double with points and dimes. You love that. 94-85 going to be the final score for two teams that are going to be playing a lot of great basketball well into this season.
Well, Sonya Morris picks up the ball and starts walking. The buzzer had not gone off, so it counted as a turnover. 1.9 seconds left to go, and Kentucky ball.
I appreciate you cleaning that up for me, because I'm thinking, wait a second, this game's over. No, Treasure Hunt gets one more look. That'll do it. DePaul improves to 8-2. Still undefeated in Big East play, 2-0. Kentucky will fall with second loss of the young season. 94-85, the final score tonight.